Okay, the next lesson that we're doing is the last lesson in 1-1, dividing rational numbers. The first thing I want to talk about is your vocabulary word, multiplicative inverse. It sounds like a big word, but it's really not that complicated. Another name for multiplicative inverse is reciprocal. But before I go there, let me just give you some examples. I'm in your 1-1D homework practice, and I'm going to do number 1. They basically just ask you to write the multiplicative inverse. 4/5 is the fraction. The multiplicative inverse is 5/4. You just flip it. You're done. I'll do number 3. -20 is what they give you. First, make it a fraction by putting it over 1. Then flip it to -1/20. Notice it's still negative. And you're done. So multiplicative inverse just means flip, 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 flip. That's the word that should come to your mind when you hear multiplicative inverse, flip. Okay, so now I want to explain to you why they call it a multiplicative inverse. The reason why they call it a multiplicative inverse is because when you multiply these two numbers together, say you are multiplying 4/5 times 5/4, you would get 20/20, right? Which equals 1. Same thing, if you multiply -20 times over 1 times -1/20, you would get -20 times -1 is +20. 1 times 20 is +20. You'd get 20/20, which equals 1. So whenever you multiply multiplicative inverses, you get 1. And that's like one of the key characteristics of inverses. Okay, so you always get 1 whenever you multiply multiplicative inverses. So that's very simple. That's all it means. They have a product of 1. You flip the fraction, and that's it. Another word that you will hear also from multiplicative inverse is the word reciprocal. They mean same exact thing. Multiplicative inverse and reciprocal are the exact same thing. No problem. Okay? So now let's go over some steps for dividing rational numbers. First, we're going to deal with the fractions, steps for dividing fractions. First step, you find the reciprocal. Of the divisor. The second step is you multiply the multiply the numerators. Then you multiply the denominators. And then you simplify if necessary. Okay, you find the reciprocal of the divisor, and we'll find out what a divisor is if you're not sure. Sorry about that. You multiply the numerators, you multiply the denominators, and then you simplify if necessary. So let's do an example. I'm going to start off with number 6 on the homework practice. Number 6 says 2/5 divided by 5/6. 2/5 divided by 5/6. So step 1, you find the reciprocal of the divisor. This is the divisor. The divisor is the number that you're dividing by, the second number after the division sign. So the reciprocal would be 6/5, right? So you rewrite the problem as multiplication. So now you do 2/5 times the reciprocal, which is 6/5. 2 times 6 is 12. 5 times 5 is 25. And you cannot simplify, so you're done. 12/25 is your answer. Okay? Next, I'll do number 9. Number 9 says 3/8 divided by 6, which we can make 6 a fraction by just making it 6/1. And then we have to change it to the reciprocal. So it's going to be 3/8 times 1/6. So you keep the first fraction, change the multiplication, and then flip the second fraction. Some people learn it by saying keep it, change it, flip it. Keep it, change it, flip it. So 3 times 1 is 3. 8 times 6 is 48. I can simplify that. 3 divided by 3 and 48 divided by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 48 divided by 3 is 16. So my answer is 1/16. And I'm done. Okay, let's do number 12. Number 12 says 6/11 divided by -8. So again, the only reason the parentheses is there is because it's negative. They don't want to write the division sign and the negative right next to each other. But let's make this a fraction, put it over 1. Now let's rewrite it. Keep it, change it to multiplication, flip it to -1/8. Okay? Keep it, change it, flip it. So 6 times -1 is -6. 11 times 8 is 88. And I can divide by 2 at least. I don't know if there's anything else I can divide by, but we'll find out. -6 divided by 2 is -3. 88 divided by 2 is 44. And we are finished. Cannot be simplified anymore, so we're done. And let's see, I can do number 16. Let's do 16. Number 16, -13 over 18 divided by -8 over 9. So keep it, change it to multiplication, and flip it. -9 over 8. Parentheses just so that we don't have the two signs next to each other. So keep it, change it, and flip it. Negative times negative gives you positive. 13 times 9 is 117. So it's positive because -13 and -9 gives you positive 117. 18 times 8 gives you 144. I don't know if that can be simplified. I think you can divide by 3. Let's see. $117 divided by 3 gives you 39. So I was right. 144 divided by 3 gives you 432. I wonder if I can divide by 3 again. Let me see. Think so. Yep. So let's go up here. See, sometimes I don't know what the greatest common factor is, so I just have to keep simplifying until I can't simplify anymore. So if I divide by 3 again, I knew that I could divide 39 by 3. That's what gave me a hint. And I get 13. 39 divided by 3 is 13. 432 divided by 3 is 144. Now I'm finished. Nothing else can go into 13 and 144. And so I'm done.